The magic of CBS Sports Sunday is the WBC Super Lightweight Championship. It's next weekend on CBS Sports.
Say what you want about America, land of the free, home of the brave. We got some dumbass motherfuckers floating around this country. Dumbass motherfuckers. And this ain't just ranting and raving. This ain't just blowing off steam. I got a little evidence to support my claim. The real owners, the big wealthy business interests that control things and make all the important decisions. Forget the politicians. The politicians are put there to give you the idea that you have freedom of choice. It's a big club, and you ain't in it. You and I are not in the big club. Folks, the game is rigged, and nobody seems to notice. Nobody seems to care. Good, honest, hard-working people, white collar, blue collar, doesn't matter what color shirt you have on, continue to elect these rich cocksuckers who don't give a fuck about them. They don't give a fuck about you. They don't give a fuck about you. They don't care about you at all, at all, at all. And nobody seems to notice. Nobody seems to care. That's what the owners count on, the fact that Americans will probably remain willfully ignorant of the big red, white, and blue dick that's being jammed up their assholes every day. Because the owners of this country know the truth. It's called the American dream, because you have to be asleep to believe it.
Don't worry about it, sweetheart. Don't worry about it. It's that splat. It's that splat. Huh? Yeah, it's that splat. I know love is stronger than pride, stronger than pain, too strong to divide. Listen up to the cap. No time, open up their eye. We moving towards a place, no turning back. Stuff more, remove Big Mac, come through, pre-approved, but yeah, y'all know who. Too caught up in the day-to-day, say the name of the great guy who is tired of life for you, tread life for you, the most free for the most. Hey, believe in what I say. If you love your ball and chain, wear your mask and judge your brain. Get out my way, small platform but heavy train. I can say some things, but I'm about to blow some steam. Show the way, might as well slap on this thing. It's v.Ali, watch us send them a new way. Wait a man, wait for all them lanes. Revel in the pain, do wait for the dark domain. Man, I ain't playing, show enough to show my reign. Yeah, showed up just to show you how to show the lane of pearly gates. 1984, what a year, what a bore. Ask what's going on, life's worth more than if and or. It's a world tour, ask what Panda eyes are for. It's a wide door, it's a cold door.
Mr. Bezmenov was born in 1939 in a suburb of Moscow. He was the son of a high-ranking Soviet Army officer. He was educated in the elite schools inside the Soviet Union and became an expert in Indian culture and Indian languages. He had an outstanding career with Novosti, or the press agency of the Soviet Union. It turns out that this is also a front for the KGB. He escaped to the West in 1970 after becoming totally disgusted with the Soviet system. He certainly is one of the world's outstanding experts on the subject of Soviet propaganda and disinformation and active measures. Well, you spoke several times before about ideological subversion. That is a phrase that I'm afraid some Americans don't fully understand. When the Soviets use the phrase ideological subversion, what do they mean by it?
What it basically means is to change the perception of reality of every American to such an extent that despite of the abundance of information, no one is able to come to sensible conclusions in the interests of defending themselves, their families, their community, and their country.
I got bored with them devils chasing the car, they were built as scammers. Credits along with the handle, wake up, they watch it, but it's the big brother sin. Whole bunch of losses, they knew were rich. They hit the last 50%. In the end, we go again. Inject the evil into oblivion. Shift is real, you see the seasons they throw us by time that you know what you thought it is. Feel it there, you can feel it in the air. The spirit is building what's coming in. Ain't nothing sweet or coincidence. No distracting me, you just feel the kid. Watch how I got up, I blast up, I got the answer, so I'm going in. Experiment, tender, locked and loaded, force behind it. Every word I delivered is saving and steering. I know Von's a valiant. Gymnastics Smith getting tired and covert like that COVID. Y'all niggas can't find him. But yeah, man, don't mind him. Time hit the front line, then I blend in like a million. Trojan blitz to a magnum. You code this right here, you a real one. It's the chosen kid waking and slumbering, baking the short and then baking to running man. Egyptian hit, God, pick on your brain like I'm Hopkins. It's time to reverse all that damage been done and you bet on your ass up and plot. 1984, what a year, what a bore. Ask what's going on, life's worth more than if and or. It's a world tour, ask what Panda eyes are for. It's a wide door, it's a cold door. About it on your side, they all want you in pharmacy. Did you check your business side? Big Pharma seems to harmonize. eyes. All seeing eye, all them lies, get they lead to demise. All them ties, all them time you thought that we was fine. Fire before 5G fire. All them towers were them up. Yeah, they building them up. While we are discussing Joe's dementia, they got plans for Camelot to get the black folks back in the matrix. It's time to throw a lid on the air again. We don't need no system to depend on all what we did. Gotta provide what they didn't. I know my God will forget. If you got something to give, take the knee, give it again, repent. Rewind on it, or that's what you get. You see what we did. Everybody posting y'all let's break from bliss. Ignorance is none excuses. For debate, regulate, sodomize, silo game. 1984, what a year, what a war. Ask what's going on. Life's worth more than if and or. It's a world tour. Ask what Panda eyes is for. It's a wide door. It's a cold war.
It's a great brainwashing process which goes very slow, and it's divided in 4 basic stages. The first one being demoralization. It takes from 15 to 20 years to demoralize a nation. It's the minimum number of years which requires to educate 1 generation of students. Demoralization process in the United States is basically completed already. For the last 25 years. Actually, it's overfulfilled success. Most of it is done by Americans to Americans, thanks to lack of moral standards. As I mentioned before, exposure to true information does not matter anymore. A person who was demoralized is unable to assess true information. The facts tell nothing to him. Even if I shower him with information, with authentic proof, with documents, with pictures, even if I take him by force to the Soviet Union and show him concentration camp, he will refuse to believe it until he is going to receive a kick in his fat bottom. The next stage is destabilization. This time, and it takes only from 2 to 5 years to destabilize a nation, what matters is essentials: economy, foreign relations, defense systems. Next stage, of course, is crisis. It may take only up to 6 weeks to bring a country to the verge of crisis. In economy, you have so-called the period of normalization. It may last indefinitely. Normalization is a cynical expression borrowed from Soviet propaganda. When the Soviet tanks moved into Czechoslovakia in '68, Comrade Brezhnev said, "Now the situation in brotherly Czechoslovakia is normalized."
I know love is stronger than pride, stronger than pain, too strong to divide. Listen up to the cap. No time, open up their eye. We moving towards a place, no turning back. Stuff more, remove Big Mac, come through, peer proof, but yeah, y'all know who. Too caught up in the day-to-day, say the name of the great guy who. It's time to life for you, tread life for you, the most free for the most high. Hey, believe in what I say. If you love your ball and chain, wear your mask and judge and get out my way, small platform but heavy train. I can say some things, but I'm about to blow some steam. Show the way, might as well slap on this thing. It's v.Ali, watch the send on the new wave. Wait a man, wait for all them lanes. Revel in the pain, do wait for the doctor, man. Man, I ain't playing, show enough to show my rain. Yeah, showed up just to show you how to show the lane of pearly gates. 1984, what a year, what a war. Ask what's going on, life's worth more than if and or. It's a world tour, ask what Panda eyes are for. It's a wide door, it's a cold war.